You have been cordially invited to a world of wonder and intrigue, of steam and invention, of magic and mysteries, where nobles wave playbills at scientists who deep in thought nearly trip over pixies delivering news to tinkerers beneath the stage of New Europa. Sit back and enjoy the scene as the actors act, the singers sing, and the players play out the adventures of Castle Falkenstein.
Hello everyone! Welcome to another episode of Adventures in Castle Falkenstein. I am Simon at Wandering DM. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to tonight's session of Castle Falkenstein. I am going to be playing Captain Jonathan von Bront, the elf soldier from the French Foreign Legion. I have with me a cast of absolutely incredible players, but first, you need to know that this stream, like all of our streams here, is sponsored by Mage Press. Mage Press, the makers of such good games like Dark Matter, which we stream here on Tuesday evenings, and other books like The Complete Alchemist, The Complete Warden, I think just also came out. So if you want to go check them out at store.mageandpress.com, you can even use code WanderingDM to get 15% off everything that you wish to buy. Without further ado, let's introduce our players for tonight. I will start with the person to my left on the overlay. PB, hi.
Hi, I am PB, and today I'm going to be playing Isolina Atenas Montiel, one half of the Lady Detectives, and also the woman who is on her honeymoon on this train as we get closer and closer to fun. Interesting fun.
And right underneath Isolina is Deirdre.
Oh, good evening, all. You know me, I'm Deirdre, and tonight I am the Contessa Lucrezia Sofia Fioravanti, the other half of the Lady Detectives, and looking forward to slightly less fun than Isolina. Different fun, but, still fun.
And to our right is last amongst our players, but certainly not the least, Kenny.
Hello. Thanks for having me. I am Kenny. I am playing Clint Smolder, your shoot 'em up, bang bang, pew pew pseudo dragon.
Will you add any other sound effects like as the weeks go on? Last week you were just pew pew pseudo dragon.
It's all right here.
And of course, our adventures would not be possible. I've already said who I was. I said I was playing Captain Von Braunt and I was wandering DM. I've said it, like at the very beginning. I swear to God, I'm receiving messages in private chat that people don't know who I am. So I'll reiterate. I'm wandering DM, I'm Simon, and I'm playing Jonathan Von Braunt, the elf soldier from the French Foreign Legion. This is the second time I say it. Swear to God, if I could edit this video in real time. But our adventures would not be possible without a host. And we have the host with the most, Chris Geary. Hi.
Hi, thank you, Simon. And I heard you the first time. It felt like deja vu the second time around. I am Chris Geary. I am the host of Adventures in Castle Falkenstein. Thank you all for coming and hanging out with us this evening. And also, thank you to all of you who are watching on the VOD and catching up with us at your leisure. We really enjoy knowing that you all are here. So, without further ado, let us think back to last episode and begin with our recap. Last episode on Adventures in Castle Falkenstein. The cast made a plan to negotiate with Katarina Graven for aid in searching out the sorcerer and possible necromancer on board the train. After setting expectations among themselves and cleaning up the captain, who'd been recently accosted, the group made their way to Lady Graven's sleeping car, where she'd prepared to meet them and discuss. Inside, the Contessa et al. Bantered, seeking intel both about the magical goings-on and the lady herself. Wine, conversation, and negotiation led to a tentative agreement. Lady Graven would help the group identify the sorcerer, or, if there even was one on board, while no payment would be discussed between them, the possibility that his reputation and standing with the Illuminated Brotherhood of Bayern could be affected one way or another did not escape Clint's notice. Time is of the essence, though, because Geneva is going to arrive here shortly. Maybe an hour, maybe two. Either way, the suspects may be able to disembark, and new intrigue may arrive. They must try and find out what's going on before complications. As they made their way to the baggage car to investigate where the assailant may have come from, they picked up drinks in the bar car, as per usual, watched for danger in every car, before finding someone in Captain Von Braunt's common car bunk. Upon closer inspection, it was determined the person was dead. Will they find out who sent the gunman to kill Captain Von Braunt? Was it the same adversary as whomever set up that balloon or killed the man in Captain Von Braunt's bed? Can Lady Graven be trusted? What happens to all the unfinished alcohol on this train? Who is the dead guy, and how did he get in that bed in the first place? With curious questions on our mind, let us rejoin our cast as they continue their performance on New Europa's stage. But before we draw back the curtain, and pour another drink. We will consult the fortune deck as we do each session. What do the cards have in store for our players tonight? We're going to start with our helper card. What is going to be their ally? Well, first of all, it looks like the 10 of spades, which spades, as we know from previous draws, is the card of air, the suit of air, the suit of intellect, communication, something that this group has a plethora of. They are keen investigators, as the lady detectives have proven time and time again. What might hinder them? The Black Joker has returned. Fate, again, may intervene if they cannot work past it. And what do we have that may harm them? Another 10. 10 being the number of reaping and ending in sight. There is a passion that will come to a heated exchange, maybe. And if it does, will that be the undoing of our wonderful, wonderful players? Let us return back to that car, the common bunk car, where we have Clint watching, the captain investigating, the Contessa near the bell pull waiting for the first sign of trouble, and we have a careful eye upon the entire scene via Isolina. Remind our viewers where you are and what it is you're doing in this moment, would you please?
Well, the Contessa had walked over to the bell pull to get, the doctor for the dead man.
Ah,
And she knows a very good doctor, so that was her goal.
excellent.
I was looking at the body, making sure it didn't have any weapons and such things that could easily be reached to attack. I was there just examining it, trying to figure out, WTF.
Yes. None have been found at this point. No sign of any weapons on this poor soul.
And Von Bront was looking into the soul blood spatter. I think it was just the one drop that was found on the sheet, right? Sheet or mattress?
It was on the top sheet, and the direction was as though whatever it fell from was moving away from the bed.
Okay. That's what I was looking into. After trying unsuccessfully to get under the bed.
Well, you got under the bed, but you didn't see any signs of punctures, which is what you had looked for. Was there something else under the bed you wanted to see?
No, that's it.
Okay. And Clint.
Yeah, Clint backed away cautiously and has his hand on the hilt of the handle of one of his guns, and is seeing how it all kind of plays out. But he warned the group away from being close to the body, and as soon as Captain Von Bront went under the bed, he kind of sighed and took a step back.
Excellent. Is there anything else you want to do with the body at this point? Or I can't remember, Deirdre. Did you say the Contessa did pull it yet or was waiting?
No, she had walked over and then we stopped. So I don't know if she was going to pull it right away, but I don't think we got there.
Then let's go ahead and go to that action. So the Contessa then will have pulled on the bell pull to get someone's attention.
And she's going to wait there and kind of, if she can, lock the door Because you said the bell pull is at one side end or the other, right?
There's one at each end.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she went back to the door that they came through,
Okay.
because that was the closer of the two.
Mhm.
And she wants to see if she can just lock the door between the cars.
Okay. Not without a key.
Okay. Well, she tried.
If I remember right, there were people in the common car.
This is the common sleeping car, and there were 2 other people that were sleeping and seemed perturbed by the noises that you all were making as you came through.
Okay, but they were already asleep when we arrived.
Yes.
Okay.
And at this point, like, there's noise from the bell pull, obviously. If you do get louder, they will likely rouse. But right now, they just seem irritated and like they're trying to sleep through whatever commotion is there.
Well, I'd be surprised if they saw anything.
You never know who sees anything, but hopefully the doctor will be here shortly to attend to the remains.
Are we still thinking it's going to rouse anytime soon?
I don't know, but I don't know why we'd need to stay here if there aren't any other things to find. We can send the doctor in.
I'd like to know who was sleeping in my bed, and more importantly, who killed that person.
Would you like to rifle through their pockets for identification?
And loose change.
You'd have to pull back the sheet.
You know what? I will.
Didn't you already do that?
He played around with it. He didn't pull it all the way back.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'll pull the sheet all the way back and rifle through his pocket.
Okay. You find a worn wallet in one of the pockets and an odd-looking skeleton key in the other. In like the breast pocket of the coat. You'll also notice, because it's a lot easier to see now, that there is blood underneath the jacket, soaked into the shirt. And it seems to be pooling underneath him.
Does it... It's pooling, but I don't see the exact wound, do I? I just see the pool of blood.
From the body position and everything, you would say you can kind of see where it's bleeding down from. It's just soaked into the shirt a lot. There's a slight tear where there's a different coloration, but it's very thin. Maybe no bigger than a hat pin.
I turn to the Contessa.
Yes?
Your pins, the one you lent me,
Yes, which one?
any one of them, could they potentially reach the heart of someone in one prick?
Yes.
Because I think...
If you want to know what they're doing, then you can make sure you don't hit the rib. But yes.
Because I think that's what killed our poor man over here.
Go with God. I hope his soul returns to heaven. But they're not mine. I've been with one of you all day, and mine are pristine and clean. So there's that.
I'm not accusing you or anything. You just seem like the one person who I should ask about using them as a weapon.
Very, very efficient. If you have them of strong enough steel, they're very, very efficient. They're very good for discouraging wandering hands, inappropriate gestures, and eliminating problems.
I don't think his case was a case of wandering hand, though.
Probably not. I mean, not if he's already lying down when he got stabbed.
Oh, speaking of, I have his wallet here, and I'll fiddle with the wallet, open it, try to see if there is any identification inside.
You find inside a couple of notes, and notes as in money, not as in handwritten. And two calling cards. Two types. One is a single card by itself, and the other there are like 3 or 4 copies of. You assume that the one that you could assume, I shouldn't say you do, but you could assume from that the one that there are multiple copies of are his own that he's trying to give out, and then the other is someone who he exchanged with.
And the one that has multiple copies of, what's the name on it?
The name on it is Frederic Ronaldo.
Does it say what he was in life? Like Frederic Ronaldo, shoe shiner?
Cobbler, actually.
That was close.
Mm-hmm.
Such a shame. There is a lack of perfect shoes in the world.
So, poor Mr. Ronaldo either chose the wrong bed to sleep in or was killed before he got to the bed.
Is there any like blood around the area that's like not just centralized on the bed?
You have is it exceptional or great?
Exceptional.
Exceptional. From a glance, you don't see any. You do notice a number of things. You'll notice that one of the people sleeping is definitely no longer sleeping. They're kind of trying to peer through their eyelids at what's going on. They seem extremely nervous based on their body posture. Like they're worried that they might be next because all they know is that they heard something about a dead guy, and not knowing whose bed they were sleeping in. The other one is definitely still asleep. And that gentleman is actually closest to you, and you get a whiff of alcohol kind of off of him. He's probably still asleep because he's extremely, extremely drunk. If you can smell it from as far away as you are. Outside of that, it looks as though someone also may have tried to jimmy the lock on the footlocker near Captain Von Braunt's bed. But you think they probably weren't successful?
Capitan, is there a hole in the sheet that would tell you if the gentleman was stabbed as he was sleeping with the sheet up, or if the sheet was covering him after the fact?
Good point. I'll look at the sheet. Like, I'll hold it up. Do I see any holes in it?
Actually, there is.
Definitely was stabbed in the bed then.
It was difficult to see at first because you know how at the top edge of the sheet it kind of is folded over and sewn. Mm-hmm. It went right beneath that hem, and so the lip of the material, as it was sewn over to kind of cover up the stitching, hid the hole. from your first inspection. There's not any blood on the sheet, though.
Yeah, Clint will remark at them like, it's not a clean way to die.
If you do it correctly, there wouldn't be any blood on it at all.
Just doesn't seem right.
It's probably not.
Is Lady Gravin still with us?
Yes, she has not left your side.
I kind of tilt my head back. You think any magic at play here?
She'll pull out her pocket watch and take a look at it, as she's already done a couple of times, but just to verify, and shakes her head. Nothing residual. If there was anything that happened, it's dispersed already.
So we have someone who's pretty exacting.
It looks that way. Either exacting or had some other means to hold them still.
Do you think it might be poison?
Not my area of expertise. It could be, though.
Capitan, you found the key, no?
Yeah, I assume it's for the gentleman's luggage.
Would it work for that footlocker?
You mean my footlocker?
Did you put anything in it?
Nope. I'll try to open the footlocker with the skeleton key.
It opens the footlocker.
Is there a severed foot inside?
There is not a severed foot.
Well,
But there are 3 very pristine boxes.
I thought you were going to say hedgehogs.
No extra hedgehogs. We have our hedgehogs quota so far for this leg, anyways.
And what are these boxes? What are they made of? I'm assuming like tiny cardboard boxes, like shoe boxes, or...
Actually, yes. They are the size and shape of shoe boxes.
Captain, I'd step back. You say you didn't put anything in there. I don't think you should lift up anything out of there.
I'll take a step back, look to Clint, and say, but, curiosity.
Yeah, remember the balloon?
Yeah. Only too well.
And that was just a balloon. This is 3 boxes. How much poison do you think you can fit in 3 boxes?
Or, those are actual shoe boxes, since our dead guy is a cobbler. And he put shoes inside my footlocker before going to bed.
It is a possibility.
I'm still not going to open the boxes. We have to entertain the possibility of it not being necessarily an elaborate assassination attempt on my part.
On the part of someone else to kill you.
Yes. Wow, that came out wrong. I realized it only way after.
Sorry.
Well, I will see myself off this train now. I was the villain all along. Goodbye.
It was not cackling.
An assassination attempt on my person is what I meant.
You know, it is taking that attendant so long to get here. I'm really going to have to write a note. A strongly worded letter.
Yeah, we need to let someone know. And soon, this is going to start smelling.
Mm-hmm. And she's going to pull the bell pull again.
And it's about that time that one of the conductors, the 2 that are left on the train, arrives.
Which one is it?
It's the younger of the two.
Crap, I don't have the note right in front of me, so...
His name is also Frederick.
Frederick,
Yeah, I was
yes.
gonna say Federico, but
Yeah,
No.
he's Frederick. The other one was Frederick, or the gentleman, the cobbler is Frederic.
Signore Frederick, good. You might want to find the Monsignore or another good doctor because that gentleman has passed beyond the mortal coil and is about to start stinking up your train.
What? A dead body?
I murdered the dead body.
Oh no.
This is not my... I've traveled with this company before. This is not my favorite trip. I'm just telling you.
You're telling me, yeah, that's right. Oh, and he just kind of like shakes his head and wanders off, mumbling something about, where the heck is Ralph? He's not going to like this.
Before he leaves the car, I'm like, you may want to get some ice.
I'll send a waiter. Another dead body. And he continues walking.
Where was the first one? She's going to shout.
The doors have shut, so if you'd like to chase after him, feel free.
Well, she's standing like right at the door, so she's just going to pull it open and shout. I mean, she's Italian, shouting down the doors.
Fair enough, but remember that these trains are not like the subway. Like when you open one train, you've got the open air and the two little like...
Yeah, so it is like the subway. You have to open both doors, yeah.
Oh, yeah, but there's nothing to block the wind or any of that. So I guess that's what I mean, is like you're not protected from the elements.
Yeah, well.
So I believe that she does have quite the vocal cords. However, I don't believe that unless you'd like to follow after, that
No, she's not.
frazzled Frederick will actually hear you.
No, she won't. It's like... And she's just going to clock back in and look at Iselina and say, we are traveling by it. We are going to write a strongly worded note. This is the, honestly, I've traveled with this company so many times, and this is just not up to their standards. Not at all.
Well, I mean, they are short one conductor.
That's a problem. If you only have 3 conductors on your train and one gets killed, then you have a problem and you're underserved for a train of this size. It's 27 cars. You're only going to have 3 conductors on this car?
I mean, I'm sure usually they do not have 3 mergers on a train.
But where's your contingency planning? You need to have contingency planning. You would expect a company like this. I mean, what would happen if, God forbid, somebody fell off a bridge? Or the train crashed or whatever. There are so many things that could go wrong, and you're no contingency. I'm going to write a letter.
I think at that point, they would no longer need a contingency plan if the train, crashed.
But that doesn't mean the entire train is destroyed. Anyways, it's fine. It's fine. All right, let's go.
During that whole thing, was clicking open his pocket watch, closing it, clicking it open, closing it. Like, he keeps on opening it, looking at it to see if it would change and see if there's another plan in there. Nope, close it. And, like, he starts pacing a little bit.
All right, we're looking. Allons-y. Let's go.
All right. To the bar car?
No, because we keep going. We're going to the luggage car to find so that your charming Lady Graven can.
yeah.
Right.
And then we can go the other direction and see Tristan and make my day so much better. Signore Capitan.
Hmm?
You said the gentleman's name was Frederic. And you said that he... Was there anything else in his wallet?
Business cards. Multiple copies of the same business card, and oh yeah, there's a different one. There it is.
What is the name on that?
Good question.
When you inspect the other calling card, not really a business card, It simply says Benjamin Talbot Esquire.
That name is familiar.
Talbot.
Yeah.
Good old Talbot.
Well, it's not the same first name as Signore Talbot that we met, Isolina, correct?
I don't know the first name of the Talbot we met.
Or didn't we, because it was just, a thing. Did we ever learn Talbot's first name? Oh, it started with an M. Right?
It's actually detailed in the drive.
Oh.
From the season 1 contacts. I did put it in there. I can grab that for you.
No, I didn't have it open. I'm sorry. My bad.
No worries.
Is Carolina, Santi, Talbot. I want you to know this is exactly what I have written down for Talbot. Oh, Gerald. It's Gerald Talbot Esquire.
Okay.
Gerald, yeah.
Now, the Talbot Esquire is a thing.
Both lawmen.
Lawyers, at least.
I'm very little use for lawyers. Talk too much.
Well, I think Esquire more for the fact he thinks himself, to be Sherlock Holmes. Insert witty remark about some Sherlock thing that I don't know. Oh yeah, he's he thinks himself because he lives on blah 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 lane,
Yes, he was talking
Baker
about how he
Street.
was on Baker Street and this. Oh my God, it was so he was so obsessed with this whole thing, and so much smarter than everybody. Yes, that. But it isn't the same kind of card, no? It's just a similar name.
Well, yeah, Simon went to check the document, but Simon saw that Benjamin Talbot was also the name of Gerald Talbot. So it might just be actually the same person.
I mean, either way, Talbot is not a common name.
The first card actually said Benjamin, but people referred to him as Gerald.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the card is... Okay, in that case, rewind, the Contessa and Isolina would totally have remembered that. And would now entirely be snarking about Talbot and his creepiness.
To be fair, I only remember Talbot. If you ever put two different last names, or the same last name and a different first name, I'm never gonna notice. Just so we're all clear. I'm lucky I remember one of the names. Both of them is asking way too much.
So, for the record, you notice lots of things, but names are just not one of them. Well, first names are not one of them.
I just, I remember one of the two. I either remember Marquez or I remember his first name.
Gotcha.
And it's very clear which one I remember there.
And then it was the opposite with Santi, right?
What's Santi's last name? Who knows? I don't.
Fair enough.
That's okay. The Contessa is there for that. And she's good.
Isolina remembers. She's, good memory. PB, bad memory.
Gotcha. So that's the delineation that we're making between player and character there. I just didn't know if this was like a quirk of Isolina.
It is a quirk of PB.
Gotcha. Perfect. Okay.
So, are we at all concerned that the good... And she'd switch to Spanish and look at Isolina and say, are we at all concerned that the good Monsignore is on the train and Signore Talbot's name shows up again?
I wouldn't say worried. That wouldn't be the word I would use. Intrigued.
I think Clint would say, you used that word last time you were talking about the father.
Intrigued?
That Spanish word that you just used.
Intrigued.
Technically, Monsignore is also Italian.
Well, yeah, they're from the same root language. I get that.
Clint's
But
a smart American.
Who knew they existed? Oh.
Yes.
Lots of mood tonight.
I was going to say truly a mythical creature, right?
I'm like a pseudo dragon.
Oh, that's true.
Well, are we going to wait to see if they should bring the doctor, or are we going to proceed on?
Doctor's not going to bring him back to life, and I think we've answered more questions than he'd be able to.
Well then, après-vous.
Where are we going again? What was the initial plan here?
The luggage car so that Lady Gravin can see if there's any necromantic energy floating
Yeah.
around.
Oh, right. Yeah. Thank you.
Trying to find something the assailant touched.
Is the captain going to leave the wallet?
The captain right now is trying to make sense of the Spanish conversation going on, and he doesn't speak Spanish at all, so he's just fiddling with the wallet in his hands and trying to pick up like a word or something to...
The Contessa had to switch back to English to say something to Clint. So then she would have stayed in English. But she would have then switched to French and say, the Monsieur Talbot in that wallet is... a do-gooder? Question mark?
He is part of a good organization who makes it their mission to, stop people from becoming too powerful, I guess would be.
Oh, no. You should get to know him. He's kind of a big thing against the World Crime League.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah. Then I should definitely speak with him. I'll keep his
He's
card.
creepy, though.
We've never met him.
He's still creepy.
We've never met him. You're still upset about the good doctor, the good priest, that's his name, I remember. He, coming in and messing with time.
Okay. But Talbot employs both the Monsignore and Carolina. He's officially creepy.
What do you mean? Okay, all right, we will continue on. Let us continue on to the luggage.
And the two of them are just walking and talking at this point.
Okay. Are you locking up the footlocker before you leave, or leaving it unlocked and open?
The Contessa she would probably say you should close that.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I'm gonna lock it.
Okay.
Close and lock it. I don't want someone to, by stroke of bad luck, decide to open one of the boxes and it ends up being poison or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you guys leave and head to the baggage car. Are you going... so I'm assuming you're going to stop at the where you were assailed, for lack of a better term. Correct? That's going to be your starting point?
I figured.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So, Clint, are you still leading the way with Lady Gravin?
I think that he would let the Contessa and Isolina go forward because they're busy and they're chatting, and I would have I'd kind of usher the captain in between, and then follow up with Lady Gravin.
Okay. And then, Captain, are you going to just follow behind everyone?
If I am, for the first time since the beginning of this train ride, close to Lady Gravin, I will immediately strike up a conversation with her.
Okay.
So, Lady Gravin, is it? What brings such a fine lady such as yourself on this train?
She'll kind of glance over at Clint and then turn her attention back to you and say, business. But you already knew that, didn't you?
Well, I was hoping there would be a bit of pleasure in your business trip, but...
Well, I only have a couple hours left, and I'm leaving when we get to Geneva.
Such a shame. I would have loved to know you, better. I am bad tonight. I am bad at this.
She smiles, places a hand on your forearm, and kind of gently, like moves your arm to your side, kind of like she's saying, down, boy. And says, "You are very sweet, and I'm sure you are hit with lots of people." And she'll lean in very closely and go, "But you're not my type." Though you do have certain je ne sais quoi.
I call them otherworldly qualities.
Yes, indeed. You don't happen to have a sister, do you?
Let me check my background. No, I don't. I was an only child.
Huh. Very well. I do hope that you stay safe, though. Let's figure out who's after you.
Yes, that's very important. There are conversations going on in private. We shouldn't do that.
Just call. Let me just say, it's just a call out. Major call outs just happened.
I just, yeah. I went to find out what y'all were doing. So I'm like, we're dead in the water. I don't know what else to do. Okay. So we're moving forward. And she'll turn her attention back to Clint and continue walking and talking generally in business-like terms. So things related to, have your travels been comfortable so far?
Given all the disturbances, comfortable is the least of my concerns about this trip.
Understood.
I hope yours have been, though.
Oh, yes, they've been fine. I just want to make sure you're well rested. I'm assuming that that's good for your profession.
Yeah. I get some rest here and there.
Excellent. And she'll just fill in with small talk of that sort as you all make your way through the cars and toward the second or the first baggage car. At the front, the Contessa and Isolina will, based on descriptions, know where you were supposed to be at. Plus, you'll see a little bit of the blood splatter from where the captain got grazed. And some of the luggage is kind of pushed about during the incident. What would you like to start with, if anything?
Us would probably take another look around the room to see if there's anything else obvious that isn't, oh, that's where he got shot, that's where he fell into the luggage, so that means whoever was holding onto the balloon is over here. Is there anything else that looks out of place from the last time that they were in here and she found a top hat full of hedgehogs?
Things have been shifted and moved around a little bit more. You feel like they were cleaning up after the hedgehogs. So it looks like there was more order established, but instead of stacking them taller, they kind of spread them out wider and then strapped them in. One of those straps seems to have gotten frayed and then snapped. It could have been ricochet from the bullet. It could have been a faulty strap in and of itself. But those particular bags are all kind of like moved due to the just the movement of the train as it goes. Then on the other side, you'll notice that they've been rearranging bags compared to what you remember. In the area where the top hat originally was found by the thief who escaped, you know how you came in and you saw him in the conductor's uniform bent over in that area? That's all been cleared away, and there's no longer any baggage in that area. But outside of that, it just looks like they were trying to make some sort of cleanup amongst everything else that they've had to deal with on this trip, and being short staff.
Well, Lady Graven, this is your show.
As we enter the car, Clint will point out all of the different, spots that they were in the story.
Okay.
And I'll try to find the bullet. See if they haven't picked it up.
Okay. So what would you like to try and use to track down the bullet?
I think Von Brunt would place himself in the same position he was when he was shot at.
Mm-hmm.
Look through his wound, and then look in the general direction where the bullet might have gone afterwards. And then just go on all four and start looking all over the floor to try to find it.
Okay. As you do that, is there a particular skill that you would like to employ?
Honestly, I could go for perception.
Okay. Would you like to play a card or just use your base perception?
I will play a card. Perception is diamond, is it?
Indeed.
Let's go with this. I have average perception.
Excellent. So the rest of you will see Isolina and the Contessa toward the front, kind of casing out the place, and I'm assuming talking amongst themselves as they kind of do, sometimes silently, just through facial expressions and micro expressions. And then the Contessa turns to Lady Graven to say, and this is your show. And it's about then the Captain Von Brunt lays down near the door at the far end of, at the end of the car that you all are gathered at, which is the far end from the front, so near the rear, and kind of looks over his shoulder. And Captain, you'll see where it impacted to ricochet. And so then as you kind of move over onto all fours to follow the path, you'll note that it did go through that strap, you think, based on the depth and angle of the ricochet. Being a soldier and also dealing with metal contraptions such as a Zeppelin, you kind of know what happens when ammunition is fired at metal. And you notice that there's been some movement around, but you can find a footlocker, actually, in which the bullet has embedded in. It's pierced the side of, and there's a jagged hole because you believe the bullet was probably splintered at some point before impacting upon it.
Well, we might not have a full bullet, but we might have something. I'll try using the skeleton key to open this footlocker. See if that works.
It does not.
Damn it.
And as the captain's doing that, Lady Graven pulls out her pocket watch and kind of concentrates on it for a while he's doing that. What are the rest of you doing?
Mostly just keeping an eye out for everything else. Watching both the Capitan and Lady Graven, but also the doors, and being ready for almost anything.
Okay.
Yeah, Clint will make his way to the opposite end of the car where it might be the same end where the balloon was tied off.
Mm-hmm. It's the same end that you're in at now, yes.
And just keep watch out the window.
Okay.
And if anytime there's like a lull, Clint will say, after we're done in here, we may want to check the other car. They came from that way.
Lady Graven will nod. She doesn't break her concentration from her pocket watch, and you can kind of see her lips moving. She seems to be saying something very softly that's inaudible to the rest of you. But she does acknowledge what you say, Clint. The lady detectives, Isolina. Is there anything that you would like to contribute?
You're muted.
I am just doing the same thing as the Contessa. I'm just looking around, seeing anything else here.
Mm-hmm.
Anything just out of place. Just looking for anything out of place.
Okay. So what you'll remember as you're looking around, you see all the same things the Contessa does. The bit that's added from your perspective is that what was in that space where the top hat was originally brought up by the thief and then tossed at you was another footlocker. And it's no longer in this car anywhere that you can see. The reason that stood out to you is because it was the only footlocker in the car that was a blue with very polished brass fittings. Every bit of it looked like it was brand new. And it was a deep royal blue. And the thing that stood out to you most was that it bore the maker's mark of one of the makers in Barcelona, most particularly Esme's boss, as he's known to make a variety of things.
Interesting. And it is no longer there, is what you are saying.
Nowhere in this car.
And is it the same like footlocker dimensions and stuff like that that you see at the foot of the beds that we passed earlier?
It was a tad bit larger. The ones that were near or in the common sleeping car are smaller because they're shorter, so they don't take up as much space. So instead of being like at the end of the bed and the full width of a bed, it's about 2/3 the width of a bed. So it's just a little walkway between the bunks because it's just for storage of small personal items, shoes, extra set of clothes, that kind of thing, but not for your entire traveling luggage sort of piece. These were like full traveling footlockers that you could ship, most of your belongings.
Interesting. Okay, well, I will keep that one in mind because I'll just keep that in mind.
Okay. At that point, we've caught up to when the captain points out to the rest of you that the bullet is embedded in a different footlocker, also a larger one.
I don't suppose any one of you knows how to pick locks.
I could try my hand at it. Although I say that now and I have 0 diamonds.
I am average at opening locks, but I may or may not have a diamond in,
You're feeling lucky?
feeling lucky.
Okay. So would you like to work together on it?
I have a very high diamond.
Awesome. I have 0 diamonds, so that would be the lowest diamond.
That would still be the lowest diamond between the two of you.
All right.
Well, I'm good at tinkering.
Okay, so that would be a 10 plus king, so 23, which is an excellent, an exceptional success as you pick the lock very easily. Clint, your experience with like gears and tumblers and things of that nature, which are very much part of where your expertise lies, is very useful as you kind of point out to Isolina. I think on this one, you kind of have to go in just very shallow for the first quarter turn to the left, then press a little deeper, and you can continue to manipulate the tumblers. And that kind of like advice as she very swiftly click, 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 and pops the lock. You can open it at this point. What would you like to do now that you have swiftly dispatched the barrier?
By the way, not a euphemism at all.
You never know with this group.
So I think once the lock has been popped, Clint would say, "All right, everybody, we don't know what's going to be in here, so let's give it a little bit of room. And if people back up, he'll flip it open, the lid open."
Okay. As you flip open the footlocker, you see inside a body. Younger, male, dark hair. Kind of smashed in there, like based on the bruising, it looks like someone actually used their foot to kind of shove them into position so they fit inside.
Flies, no flies, smell, no smell.
There seems to be a smell now that you've opened the footlocker. You'll also notice that it seems to be stuffed with some bags around the edges of it.
Well, do we want to let our young conductor friend know that he has a third dead body to deal with?
I'm definitely traveling with a different train company next time, Isolina. I'm just saying.
Oh, this is hardly their fault. How were they to know there was going to be some crazy necromancers boarding with them?
But they don't have the staff to deal with it. That's their fault.
You will notice who was there for that who was in the bar car with Tristan when he told you about the different conductors?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I recall being. Well, I mean, I don't recall being there.
No, the captain and Clint were there.
Mm-hmm.
Isolina, yeah, the Contessa was not.
It's the evening before I went with Lady. What's her name?
Yeah, it's after the Contessa left the bar car with the priest, and she wasn't there.
So it would have just been Clint and.
I think Isolina was there before she, and it was just before she left that he mentioned the 3 conductors.
If it was before Captain Von Brandt left with Lady, I'm losing her name.
What's her-
Lady Marjorie.
Maribel.
All 3 of them.
Isolina was the first one to leave.
Yeah, Isolina was the first one to leave, but I think she was there for the conversation. No, it was just the 2 of them because it was when they started playing cards.
Gotcha.
When they started playing poker.
So one of the 2 of you, you think it matches the description of Nate, the missing conductor.
Well, that solves that mystery.
And he's missing his uniform. And actually, yeah, because he's naked.
What a sad way to go.
Is this the Foot Locker? Is just mundane, or is there anything of note on it?
The only thing of note is the number of little pouches that have been stuffed around them. And anyone want to get close enough to find out what's in them?
I will.
Okay.
The Contessa's gonna walk behind Isolina and have a hand ready to grab her.
As you poke around, you'll notice that a very strange powder kind of puffs out when you poke at them, and it seems to disperse the scent coming off the body.
Ah.
Interesting. I am going to go into one of my pockets, one of the many pockets in this dress.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to take out a little container. It's just itty bitty. And it has a little itty bitty scoop on it. And I'm just going to grab a little bit of that and put it in there and close it.
Okay.
Because someone gets very angry at me when I come home and I talk about the things I've seen, and I never get anything for them to look at and test it out and figure out what it is.
Damn Skippy.
Uh,
Yeah, you'll notice that it looks similar to a talcum powder of sorts, something chalky.
That's what I assume it would be. However, when I get home and I start talking about it, someone gets mad at me when I do not give all the details. So, because I am not of a scientist's mind, you like to remind me about. Anyways, so I'm just going to collect enough of that for somebody to look at and tell me exactly what it is.
You can already imagine the pleased look on her face.
Which makes the gathering of it a little less annoying because there is a dead body I have to scoop around.
Mm-hmm.
While you're scooping, it'd still be a good idea to get a bullet fragment out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. Do I see any... I mean, while I'm doing this, do I see any bullets, anything? Where this bullet would have lied?
As you are kind of looking around now that you have a different purpose for your attention and focus, you'll kind of line up where the bullet hole is on the side and look in, and you don't see it, but you do see a lot more of the white powder in that area, as though maybe it impacted one of the pouches.
So what you're saying is it's somewhere in the pile I'm scooping from, is what you are saying.
It's in a different pouch. So it would be at the other end of the footlocker, because I'm guessing you probably didn't want to be near the torso, like near the legs. There's less body to accidentally rub up against.
That's fair.
So I made that assumption that you weren't trying to get all up in
That business.
His dead business.
So, well, it is on that end. You can deal with it. It is over there.
Captain, would you like to go retrieve it?
Someone has to.
As you pull, how delicately or how carefully are you going to try and pull out the closest bag of powder? Because she said that it most likely impacted and is in that bag or near that bag. So how careful are you going to be with that?
Extremely careful. I remember the episode with the balloon. I'm going to try to move the bag as little as possible. Like, try not to shake it or to... Especially if it's ripped open. I don't want any of the powder inside to fall out.
Okay. Would you like to play a card to try and be extra careful, or are you just going to go with your standard dexterity, or in this case, athleticism, or stealth? Either. They're both physical.
I would go for athleticism. My athletics is good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to play a joker.
Oh, excellent. You very deftly pull it out. And as you get to the top, you like scoop your other hand underneath it, and the bullet actually falls into your hand just as you crest the lip of the footlocker, as it kind of got jostled a little bit about in the change of material at the edge of it, and also the release of pressure as it was kind of packed in there a bit. And you have a open, punctured bag of this white powder in one hand and a powdered covered bullet fragment in the other.
Got it.
Well done.
Lady Graven, does this make your pocket watch go all wonky?
She'll kind of turn and look at you, and you'll notice that there's like this greenish hue to her gaze as she does. And she looks down at it, and she reaches out and picks it up with a gloved hand and sets it near the watch, and then plops it back into your hand again, dusting her gloved hand off on your sleeve, and says, "No, nothing from it. The reading is extremely faint, and it's coming from that direction," pointing toward the other luggage car.
So then the odds of this poor soul coming back from the dead are kind of slim to none?
There are no magics at play around this poor person.
Okay. So we can step back, we can close the lid, we can go find the other magics and get out of here.
Indeed.
Clint will make his way to that door with his pistol drawn.
Okay.
Revolver, not pistol.
And I'm assuming you open the door and make your way through?
Yeah, I'll open the door and hold it just to see where everyone is as they're coming up.
Okay. Lady Graven will follow you. Isolina, what would you like to be doing next?
I'm gonna put away the little tin, make sure it is securely closed, and then I am going to honestly, like when you are at, when you were younger and you were with a parent at like a retail store, maybe like shopping for clothing or something, and you were not like totally interested in the thing that was happening. Not to say that I'm not interested in what is happening, but more in the fact that how you used to just roam and look around at everything just to see the sights while you waited for other people to do their thing. I am doing something very similar as we just continue around. I'm just looking a little bit at everything that is happening. Instead of focusing on one thing, I am just looking at everything.
Okay.
The Contessa's gonna wait a half second for the Lady Graven to kind of get through the door, and then in French ask, Captain, are you well? Are you alright?
Well, the powder didn't affect me, so that's good.
That's a good thing. I meant more about the general situation, but not being poisoned is a good thing.
Well, they haven't killed me yet.
Hmm.
Though at this point, if all three of them have been killed because of me, I can't help but feel bad about it.
They were killed by others. Regret the loss of life, but be angry at the right person, not yourself. And at that, she'd just turn and walk back up to Isolina and following Lady Graven.
Okay. Captain, anything you'd like to do before you exit?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. You all make your way to the next car. It's uneventful, Clint, as people are walking up. There's no signs of danger. Your vigilance is well noted. The same at the next door. Um, Inside the next car, though, you'll find that there is a trunk, a footlocker that is open and kind of out toward that safe room. You know how it kind of opens up around it in that more open space, not tucked away with the rest of the luggage on the racks that line the walls here.
Clint will make his way into the room, and he'll probably wonder out loud. Now, who would have come in here and moved that after we were in there the other night?
Does that make your pocket watch go off, Lady Graven?
She's pretty focused and walking right for it. She doesn't actually break stride. You can easily take that as a yes. But she doesn't verbalize as such. She'll get over to it, and for the two of you that have a higher than average sorcery, you'll notice that there's a flare of energy around both the watch and her eyes, and the energy around her eyes stays that greenish hue, but around the watch itself, it shifts and swirls and turns inky black. And after a few moments, it looks like it starts to kind of spread and trickle out and away from the watch and down to the trunk and into the trunk. And it kind of swirls very, I don't know, it's not furious. It's a very slow churn of magical energy that builds gently and then turns that inky black. And it coalesces into a dark silhouette. Do either of you have a great or higher sorcery?
I have great.
No. Mine's just good.
Okay.
I have great perception, but only good sorcery.
Okay. So the Contessa would see that, as well as footprints that appear that lead from that trunk to the door which you just came through. Clint, you'll see that black silhouette actually starts to have some definition, and the bits and pieces of definition that you can pick up on, and you know that Lady Graven can see it as well, is that same like pressed cloth of that suit that the assailant was wearing. And also the features of that person. And as it starts to take more shape and kind of settle and become more complete, then the suit disappears, like it pulls off. It's like it's the inky magical energy just strips off of it like it were liquid, and then it folds itself up right in midair and disappears. And then all you have is the outline, or I guess black spectral image of a corpse in just their undergarments.
All right, so now we know for sure.
We know what?
That somebody's raising the dead.
Oh.
Lady Graven closes her pocket watch and the energy disappears.
Wouldn't happen to see any other major large trunks with the possibility of dead bodies coming out of them, do you?
There are a number of footlockers, yes, but I don't know if there are bodies in them.
I'm gonna go to the footlocker with a dead body in it. I'm gonna close the lid.
Okay.
And I'm gonna like knock on different parts of it
Mm-hmm.
to see if it makes any identifiable sound, and then I'll go to another footlocker and I'll do the same sort of knocking pattern and see if there's any difference between the two sounds.
Okay. So you will notice the big difference in sound is that the one that you're knocking on, that you close the lid on, there isn't a body anymore. It was all magical energy. So there isn't anything in it. It's empty and it sounds hollow when you knock on it. It is, however, that footlocker that was in the other car the last time that you were there with the hedgehogs, the one that was made by Esme's boss.
Oh. Well then.
And so you're pretty certain, based on how new it was purchased in Barcelona. Most likely purchased and then loaded onto the train when you all got on in Barcelona.
Well, we know at least Well, now we know two things. One, that is a person rising the dead. And two, that whoever is doing it bought this at Barcelona.
Well, that says that when they got on the train, surprised they waited so long then.
It is probably for a quick exit once we reach Geneva.
I'm thinking you have the right idea, though, Isolina. We should check and see if there are any large containers like this.
And there are other ones, and you would have knocked on at least one or two by this point, and they sound like there are things in them, but you wouldn't be able to compare if it sounds like a body. You could go back to the other car and see if that sounds different with Nate's body in it. But you'd have to leave this car to do that.
I will leave this car to do that.
Well, quick. I don't know if this would be Clint with a question or Kenny, but isn't it funny that they had a container ready for that conductor to go into?
Yep.
I'd say it was good planning.
Would there be another body or someone wandering around here?
I don't know. It is a concern. I am mightily concerned.
Those are both excellent observations and questions. And while we ponder those, we're going to go to our midway break. So please stick around and come back to find out who is this necromancer and what are they doing, or where are they getting all these bodies?
Well, I mean, they're getting them from the people on the train, but...
You know what they're not getting right now? They're not getting any adventures over at Mage Hand Press, our sponsor. So while you're waiting for us to come back from break, please go and check out that link in the chat right now, and maybe you can get 15% off your own purchase.
And we're going to be back in about 5 to 8 minutes. See you later, everyone.
Well played.
we are back. Hello, everyone.
Thank you for sticking around for the second half of Adventures in Castle Falkenstein. For anyone joining us just now, the first half was spent investigating a dead body found in the common car bunk that was assigned to Captain von Brandt. And Captain von Brandt is still well and alive, but the mysterious cobbler, Frederic Rinaldo, was found stabbed and dead in his bed. From there, they moved on to the baggage cars where they found two trunks, one that had a body of one of the conductors who'd been missing, a Nate, they don't have a last name, and another trunk once housed a dead body that they believe the trunk was picked up in Barcelona and possibly the body as well. And now we return to Isolina, going to exit to go back to the first baggage car and inspect the sound difference of a trunk with a body in it versus a trunk with other belongings. And Clint seemed very worried about Isolina leaving by herself. Almost as though you were going to interject.
Apparently, Clint is very worried about his newfound friends. If there was a case like this for the one corpse who attacked us, and there's another case right there with the corpse in it, there's a third corpse out there that's walking around. Could be. I might be just worrying.
No, there probably is.
Who's the third corpse?
The one that attacked us didn't have a name?
No, but that's the magical image. It was that same person.
Oh, okay.
So in the empty one that you found that's opened, it was just filled with basically a spectral image of what was there with that black magic, and so, that was what you saw was that person.
What Clint is worried about is that the case that is now carrying poor Nate had a corpse in it prior, and the magic has dissipated, so it wouldn't have set up any of the detection.
That's okay. That makes more sense to me. I was worried that I described something incorrectly. That's all.
Clint is jumping to conclusions.
Oh, and you have every right to do so. Run with that. Run, jump, skip, hop, whatever.
When Clint says that he's concerned about there's more dead bodies, the Contessa pulls the pin that she stuffed down the center of her corset out, and then she pulls the pin from her hair, sticks the one that was in her hair with the bronze topper in the front of her corset, and then uses the one that was in her corset to put her hair back up.
Okay. What is the captain doing?
I think for the moment, the people that can see magic seem to handle things a bit better, so I'm just going to look around this luggage car.
Okay. For anything in particular?
You said things have been moved earlier, right?
In the previous one, they were moved about. In this one, they all seem tucked away still.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So, if you wanted to follow Isolina back to the other car and look at how everything was kind of in different places now, you could do that.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do.
Okay. And that leaves Clint, the Contessa, and Lady Graven in the car with the safe room. Anything else that you want to accomplish here? Or do you feel like you've finished everything for this room or this car?
I'm assuming Isolina would have let the Contessa know she's coming back so that they could check the other foot lockers that are here. So she's going to wait at the door and kind of keep an eye both front, looking back towards the car that Isolina and the captain went to, and then still behind them in case somebody decided to, get up and walk around that shouldn't be.
Gotcha. So if anybody is in the caboose. Okay. So Clint, Lady Grovin looks a little shaken, a little pale, and turns to you and goes, well, there definitely is someone going about.
I wouldn't worry about that one anymore. I'm pretty sure that's the one that attacked Captain Von Brandt and myself.
And where did they end up again?
Under the train.
Oh, right. I remember you saying that now.
I'm pretty good at my job.
No, I wasn't questioning that. I was thinking more the one who animated them.
That is also something I was thinking about. There are too many things to track here. And Clint flicks open his watch again.
She'll kind of take a look at just the watch in general, not trying to see the face of it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But she kind of just watches it, and you can see her eyes tracing the actual watch itself. Yes. Moving parts.
Your watch wouldn't happen to be, noticing anybody else, the sort of magic, anybody else coming around to, try and kill us, any of those kind of things? Just minor concerns.
I'd have to be able to focus it on something in particular, or it would have to be a very powerful form of magic.
Okay, that's a thing. That's all right then.
So, like, when I got here and was able to focus it, there was that I found. And before, when the Chthonians were running amok.
Perhaps we need to go and get you some spirits to warm you up. You look a little pale.
Yes. Probably.
I recommend the Aperol. Tristan does a beautiful Aperol.
I will keep that in mind. Thank you.
Yeah, you see Clint kind of pacing a bit and still tracking his watch. He's gonna put it in his pocket and say, we're done in the luggage compartments. I think we need to go and sit and regroup.
Yep. Also, I have an empty glass, so there's that problem too.
And we'll transition to the other baggage car. Isolina, you'll go over, or I'm assuming you go straight to the Foot Locker with Nate in it, yes?
Yep.
And you knock on it to kind of get an idea of the sound. And there are a couple other Foot Lockers in here. There's fewer of them in here than there is in the car behind you, or that you just left. And you can knock on one of those. You have to step around some things as things have gotten, like I said, a little bit less organized. It was like they were trying and then got interrupted and then kind of just threw things together and whatever. So you knock on that and you do hear a distinct difference between the sound of a trunk filled with items versus a trunk filled with a body.
And talcum powder.
And talcum powder, yes.
All right. If there are any other footlockers here. I'm just gonna, just to make sure they aren't full of dead people. I'm just gonna knock on them while I'm here.
The others sound like they have just items in them. You can even hear in one of them when you knock on it, and then the train kind of rocks a little bit as it's going along the track, as trains are apt to do in this time period. You hear a little like clinking of metal on metal in one of them, and another one it sounds like there's something rolls a little bit, but it sounds like hard, either wood or stone or metal, also not a body part of any sort.
Did Von Bronze ever grab his sword and stuff from his thing? Okay, just making
Yes, he
sure.
did.
Okay, and once I've like assured that all of that is like fine,
Mhm.
I'll head back to the other compartment, other car.
Okay. As you get up, you'll notice Von Brandt looking about the car. Von Brandt, what are you doing while Isolina is knocking on footlockers?
Right.
I'm trying to find out if the fact that they were moved, if they were moved to hide something. Actually, I should say.
Okay. Is there a particular type of skill that you would like to employ to make that determination?
Let me grab the drive. We don't have a skill that's like deduction, do we?
No, not in particular. I'm looking at it like education could be used in that regard, because it is a general education kind of concept. Depending on the type of deduction you're trying to make, natural sciences might play a role. All of them would be mental, though, in their pursuits. So they would be diamonds. So if you do have any skills that are a diamond, it's possible that we could layer that in.
Could we say that I do it in such a way that I am good looking throughout my investigation? I could use charisma instead.
You do it with lots of flair and panache, but I don't believe it's going to give you any bonuses to finding anything. You will definitely get bonuses if you play a heart to how you look while you go looking for things.
Cool. I can't mix two actions together, can I?
Yeah, technically you can.
Okay, so I'll go with general education. Can you just give me my fourth card, please?
Oh,
just in case I get like another diamond or something.
Sorry, I thought I did that already. I did not. There you are.
All right, so this is my card for education.
Excellent.
With my average education.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to deduce if things have been moved to cover anything. And in addition to my great comeliness.
Okay.
Play 6 of heart.
So you're going to look very good doing it, too.
Yep.
Excellent.
Very important.
So, Isolina, you'll actually notice out of the corner of your eye with your perception that as Von Brandt is looking about the room, doing things, he's very much taking the time to kind of like pose and show that he is really paying attention. And he looks kind of impressive in sort of a way. Like it's much better than the CSI Miami kind of poses. We're talking like it's not comical. It's actually like, hey, he might actually know what he's doing. And you know, there might be some redeemable traits about that philanderer. But as you are looking through things, Lena's the only one you have there to impress, Captain. So, and we know what she thinks of your come-ons and charisma. So, at this moment, though, you're very impressive.
Cool. But more importantly, do I find anything out of the ordinary?
Yes.
Cool.
you will actually notice that things were moved around, but not to cover up something in the space that it was, but it seems to like kind of keep things out of, like, keep people away from certain areas. And if that strap hadn't broken, where that footlocker was that Nate was in was kind of difficult to get to. It was kind of in the center of a bunch of other bags, suitcases, smaller footlockers, one of the other footlockers that Isolina was knocking on would have been next to it before things shifted. You'll also notice that there are some bags. You saw them before when you were looking for your canvas bag. There were 3 canvas bags that are tucked in the corner. And you realize you're not sure how they got there because you don't know how you could get to them without having to climb on people's belongings.
I'm going to climb on people's belongings then.
Okay. You won't need to play any cards for that. Your athletics is already good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's perfectly fine. It's enough to be able to move through it. It's not like it's booby-trapped or anything of that nature. No Indiana Jones type stuff going on here. However, you do get over there, and you'll notice that those 3 bags are tucked together, and they're actually tied at the bottoms to there's a hook on the wall for like tying straps down and things, and all 3 of them have been tied there.
I'll warn Isolina of what I'm about to do. I'm going to untie them from the hook and bring them so that the whole group can look at them.
Okay.
But if something was to happen, if a giant cloud of greenish smoke comes out of the bags as I touch it, don't inhale it.
So what you're saying is you're taking a huge gulp of air before.
Yep.
Excellent. The captain breathes in full lungs of oxygen and very dramatically begins to unbind these 3 canvas bags and carry them, I'm guessing, pull them away and carry them. And you'll notice that nothing comes out of them. One of them seems to be stuffed full of clothing. Another one has some other random things in it that are clinking together. And another one just seems to be some like books or something of that nature.
But it all looks like these were impossible to put there.
They also are... Are you going to actually open it up and look inside them?
No, not yet.
Okay. It doesn't look like it would be normal to pack them over there. Like, based on everything else you saw in the room, they are definitely out of place in the way that they were packed in the room. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Were they like that when you first got here? You first saw them?
Can I play something to try to recall that? Because I don't recall you describing those bags the first time we went into the baggage car.
When you were looking for your sword, I actually described it like 4 times. So your character
wow.
will remember. So
that's fine. On brand.
Oh, yes, the canvas bags. Yeah, okay.
The canvas bags in the corner, there were 3 of them together in the corner, all about the same size and shape.
Mm-hmm.
But you found your bag before ever having to look at them.
Yeah.
So they've been here a while, is what you're saying.
They've been here a while, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, maybe this mystery will be solved sooner rather than later.
Maybe.
Well, if nothing else, I think I hear rumblings from the other car. It seems we might have them here sooner rather than later.
And about that time is when the other 3 walk into this car.
So, were you going to check the footlockers in the other room, or Isolina?
Yes, I am. I was just distracted by Capitan Von Brunt over here.
And she kind of looks at Isolina, that raised an eyebrow.
Who made a discovery. Let me finish my statement.
Clint's like, checks out. Yep.
And then she goes, oh, okay. Okay, that makes more sense.
And I'll point over. I want to know. I will stay here while you open the canvas bags.
So
in the
these,
super-
yeah, I'll take a deep breath beforehand. But before taking the deep breath, I'll explain that I found these bags. They look out of place. They've been here a while. They were there before. I just didn't pay them any mind. But they were tucked in a corner of the car that seemed out of place for luggage. So I'm thinking maybe they belong to one of our assailants. And they were just either chucked there or hidden in a corner. Try to pass them off as inconspicuous canvas bags belonging to some random passenger. Yet in, hooked somewhere where no one would, in their right mind, go and fetch them because you had to climb over all these other people's luggage. Not that I did it, but if I had to do it, I would have done it with style. Just so you know. So I'm going to open the one with the books.
And you open it with no gas or danger of any sort. And inside you do find a number of books. A lot of the standard household books that you would see across New Europa at this time. There's actually a collection of Shakespeare's, complete Shakespeare's works. There is a Gutenberg Bible. There is a few other notable titles from the time period that have been in circulation for a while and fairly available to most of the public. It looks like someone's home library.
No Necronomicon in there?
No Necronomicon.
Well, it's
books.
Huh?
No skin-bound books.
Well, there's nothing evil with skin-bound books. I mean, it used to be a way to bound books back in the Middle Ages. No, seriously.
Yeah, but not
You
usually
recycle.
humans.
Well, no, you would normally have, like, animal skin, like sheepskin, or...
Yeah.
I was talking about human skin, but we're good.
Oh. Well, I mean... if you're an evil necromancer, the complete works of Shakespeare bound in Shakespeare's skin.
That's for next season.
I'll open the other one, the one with the trinket, not the one with the clothing.
Okay.
Again, gasp for air.
Okay. Inside, you find no death, but some candlesticks. You find 2 inkwells that have been sealed and wrapped. You find a number of boxes that seem to be clasped shut, like smaller wooden boxes that would hold things that people's belongings, personal belongings of sorts. A variety of personal belongings, basically.
I'll show the contents of the bag to the rest of the group and ask, anything in there that screams ritual to raise the dead? I'm not well versed in magical things.
Does anybody want to take a look in particular?
You're muted.
The Contessa would glance in.
What's your base social graces?
Good.
Glancing in, this looks like someone, like the belongings of someone that's like lower middle class, maybe a professional butler or like, I don't remember the term for
Housekeeper, lady's maid, Charlotte,
Lady's
Chantelane.
maid is what I was looking for. Someone that worked directly with the lady of the house. Enough personal belongings that would fill a room. Like if you live in someone else's house as where you worked, not necessarily a household, but this is probably someone's belongings. You don't think that this has anything to do with necromancy?
No, I don't think this has anything to do with raising of the dead. I think this is just somebody who is moving, probably a person in service.
And glancing at the three of them and how the 3 bags and how much is there, you're thinking that this person would have been better off putting it all in a footlocker.
Ah. And she looks at that, and then she looks at the footlocker, and then she looks at the bags again and go, so those were in that box until that gentleman ended up in that box.
Makes sense.
From your position, Isolina, as you're kind of seeing things, you notice on the bags they all have like a series of numbers printed on them, and they are sequential. Like each one, say the first one is like 84728. The next one is 84729, and then 84730. You think that these bags belong maybe to the train, or to a mail service that the train would carry things? You think that it's possible that the thief, after killing Nate to steal his identity, may have just grabbed bags on the train and stuffed the belongings in them, and then stuffed Nate in the footlocker?
Well, I share that news.
So somebody's going to be looking for their stuff. Out of curiosity, in that third bag, is it, I just need to know these things. I'm so curious, and I need to know. Is it a gentleman's gentleman, or is it the butler, or is it a lady's maid? Which the clothes will tell us.
When you open the bag, you find out that it is women's clothes.
Have I seen any ladies' maids on the train? Any ladies traveling with their maids?
No, you have not. But in the common car, it is possible. Like the number of women that were sitting around trying to, wrangling children. It's possible there might have been more women than the children that belonged to them. Like what you might have associated as someone's child, they were just politely helping someone else out who had 4 or 5 children while they were traveling, not because they were hired to, but just because they're a kind person that's used to working in service industry.
Well, I don't think she's going to want that box back.
All right.
It's a shame. It is a nice box.
Well, there's a hole in it now. And
There's
a dead
also
body.
Yes. A dead, naked body in it.
That's why I said it's a shame. It was a nice box.
All right, so we're going to check the other boxes, make sure there's no more dead bodies, right? Or at least in them.
Yes.
Are you going to use the knocking method, or are you going to try and do something more invasive?
No, I'm going to knock.
Okay. Using the knocking method, it doesn't take very long. You will find that the rest of them all seem undisturbed, and none of them have bodies in them.
Well then, that solves that. One can never be too careful, apparently, on this train.
This is very. The Lady Graven looks like she could use some of Tristan's kind attentions. I support this decision. I have an empty glass. Let's not be here any longer than we have to be, please.
Shouldn't we be in Geneva by now?
One would think.
You're getting close. Absolutely very close.
I don't have a pocket watch, so I don't know what time it is.
So, Clint, because you are continually checking your pocket watch,
Yeah.
you would notice that you are about 45 minutes from when you're scheduled to stop. Before, when you met with the lady, there was about 2.5 hours until Geneva. And so it's been almost 2 hours since then, between the meeting and then all of your investigations.
So let us go visit Tristan.
Let's get some refreshments. You know, this wasn't all for naught, though. It did eliminate some of the lingering problems. Like, I don't think that there's another body hanging around anymore. Other than the one that the conductor said that there was another one.
Mm-hmm. Nate, the person in my bed, and
Whoever the conductor mentioned as being dead.
yeah.
But let's get a move on to the drink car.
Striding with purpose.
Yep.
Okay. As you head back into the common sleeping car, you will actually find Father Korsakov performing rites over the body of Frederick Ronaldo.
As they walk by, the Contessa would stop in Latin and turn to Father Korsakov and just say in Latin, "There's another one in a footlocker in the baggage car."
He'll raise an eyebrow and then just nod. Is there anything that you would like to do, say, explore with Father Korsakov at this point? Or are you moving on?
Where did we see the Esquire?
It was in the wallet of the person that died in my bed.
Do you still have the wallet? I don't remember you saying you put it down.
No, I was fidgeting with it, so I figure I kept it on my person.
Yep, that's what I thought. I just wanted to confirm.
I have questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I am, after he finishes his rites, whatever with that, I am like, Father, a quick question. Just quick question. So in, somehow, some way, we saw the wallet, and we happened to see a certain card for a certain mutual acquaintance. Someone who you are very familiar with.
He'll nod.
And I was just curious why you think this certain individual might have this card to contact a certain person on Baker Street.
He'll look at the body again and say, probably delivering a package.
Well,
Would it be like 3 boxes of a package, or?
Possibly. I don't keep track of Mr. Talbot's shipping invoices.
might want to let them know that's not going to get delivered right now.
Understood. Do you know where these 3 boxes are?
I look down at the footlocker.
He'll just nod.
Yeah, it does not get it indeed, but I thought it was weird that they were there to start with, so.
He'll then turn to the Contessa, based on, to Isolina, based on your comment about the wallet, and go, do you have the key?
Oh, yes. It's right here.
Thank you. And he'll just slip it into a pocket for now and then return his attention to the body. And it's about then that Frederick, the conductor, the young conductor, returns with Rolf, and they kind of see all of you and kind of nod and turn to Father Korsakov and say, are we ready to move the body? And to which he says yes. And then they start to wrap up the body in the sheet. And as they do, you will notice there is a lot of blood on that bottom sheet that is soaked into that mattress.
When both of these conductors come in, I pay extra attention to both of them to make sure I see any moment I see new skin being shown, or anywhere that there might be jewelry or any sort of moniker of any sort. I'm paying extra attention to see if there are any markings on them, if they have to, they are, if they have anywhere that there might be a moniker saying they are associated with anything.
Okay.
Anything like, especially after the red brooch, I am paying attention to everything.
Okay.
I do not trust them. So
as you size them up very, very carefully, would you like to augment that or just go? I mean, you have exceptional perception.
Yeah, I mean, I have one that I might as well. It is a low.
Okay. So you size them up and you notice the only markings of any sort of reference to anything is really just the train car company. Their uniforms are complete. They're definitely worn because they've been working a lot today. They're down one person. It's a short staff because it's a smaller number of people, but they still have a large number of cars to keep track of. So they've been doing a lot of walking back and forth. So nothing looks out of place in that regard. It doesn't look like either of them has like a freshly pressed uniform on or anything like that. That would be weird. It all seems in place and it kind of lines up. Rolf seems very nonplussed by all of this, but based on what you've learned about Rolf from your interactions with him, and if anybody's told you what other people have said about him, he seems inconvenienced by a lot of things. It's only customers with money that he ever seems to not act inconvenienced by, at least not publicly. He might just be kind of a negative person in general.
Someone tired with his job.
Yeah, he looks like he's been doing it for a long time, too.
I pay special attention to that man.
The Contessa would turn and walk up to the two conductors and say, I'm very sorry to inform you, but there is yet another dead body on this train. So, yes. Frederic, which was the other one you mentioned when I told you about this one?
We found Nate some time ago.
Okay, good, because he's sitting in the back room back over there.
Oh. Well. He'll turn to Rolf and immediately go, I didn't tell them where it was. Rolf goes, it's fine. We'll just take care of both of them now.
At that, she's going to turn and look at Rolf and go, you know, I was going to be nice, but I'm writing a strongly worded letter. And just kind of give him that look, like...
Okay.
That horrible look that you get from customers and customer service when it's like, we were patient and we were working with you, and now no.
Okay.
And she'll look at Frederic and go, when you have a moment, I would like to discuss certain things with you. We will be in the parlor. We will be in the sitting room in the first parlor car. Please ensure that our dinner is brought to us there. Thank you very much. And she'll slip a note, a tip to Frederic and do it entirely in front of Rolf and not give one to Rolf.
Okay. It is greeted with a little bit of just confusion from Frederick because there's a lot of things going on. And he's not like brand new on the job, but he's never had a day like this. And you can kind of tell. And Rolf just kind of looks at it. He smiles politely to you, but you can also see that he's kind of given a side eye to Frederick the entire time, as would be expected. Anybody else want to do anything at this point? Or are we headed to the bar?
Pretty certain we're headed to the bar.
Okay. You'll make your way to the bar. You'll go through the common sitting car. You'll again see a number of people, including the two gentlemen that were eating alone earlier in the dining car, because everybody else had already finished. They were the late suppers. And they're now back in the common sitting car as they were before. The one that Clint has been keeping an eye on that he's kind of pointed out to you all is again kind of reclined in a chair with hat pulled down over his face, sleeping but not really sleeping, if that makes any sense. Like trying to put off the image that he's sleeping and ignoring the room, but he's actually kind of watching the room.
And the Contessa is angry flouncing down the center hallway.
Okay.
Like, making sure that she's seen and she looks, and it's obvious that she's upset about something.
Okay.
I am trailing behind the group because now with this added knowledge, I want to look around again just to make sure I keep an eye out for special markings on all of the people I can see.
Okay. The only thing that stands out to you is the gentleman that is trying to be somewhat sneaky, and it's not that he's bad at it; it's that you're just better at noticing it. He's watching people as they go by, but he's trying to act like he's taking a nap. He's doesn't have any markings per se, but he does have a different way of holding himself. The others, nothing out of the ordinary that would be any sort of association or membership related that you can notice. If it is, it's something that's underneath the shirt that they wear. Like that kind of can't notice, not because you missed it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And again, there's children playing because there's a lot more open seats in the car. You make it through the dining car. The waiters are kind of like cleaning up from the last go around and preparing to make stop in Geneva, it looks like. Some of them are securing things for when the train goes to stop, like some of the excess china and that sort of piece.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to take that moment to thank Katie Faze for the donation.
Yes, thank you so much. So we've got a double Deuces Wild, it looks like here. That is awesome. And that'll be all PCs get, you have 2+2s to add to anything that comes up. Your next heroic feat that you want to attempt. You can use them separately. I'll even let you stack them if you'd like. Thank you, Katie. That is awesome.
So much.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you. Yeah, from all the conversations with the conductors and as we were making our way through, like Clint looks a little bit more relieved. Like a lot of the unknowns have become known, and he hasn't checked his watch since.
Excellent. You'll make it through the dining car. I'm assuming that's something that everyone's going to kind of notice a little bit in your posture. It's visible to like the rest of the group. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And you'll make it to the bar car, where you'll find your best friend Tristan and the waiter that's usually with him. There are a few more people than normal in the bar car at this point. The trip may have been wearing on everyone a little bit, and they're definitely trying to unwind.
Or maybe it's just all the dead people, you know?
Mm-hmm. From what you can tell, the concept of corpses outside of actually, even that one, it doesn't seem to have gotten to anyone yet. Because you had the one passed out drunk, sleeping, and then the other gentleman is actually at the bar drinking, so he definitely knows, but he doesn't seem to be talking to anyone.
That's fair.
As the Contessa strides into the bar, she kind of looks at Tristan and says, "Tristan, my dear, we're going back to the sitting room. We need a full service whenever you get the chance."
Of course. And he will, while he's doing other things, you'll see him kind of like start pulling different glasses, as you note, based on what you've ordered in the past. Mm-hmm. And he's setting up a tray while he works. And
as she strides by, she'll slip a bill onto the bar.
Okay. He will serve someone a drink with his offhand, scoop it up like it was never even there, very swiftly, and tuck it under the bar. He will nod in your direction as he does.
Yeah. She doesn't stop. She just keeps walking towards the sitting room because she still has the key for it.
Yes, she does. Anybody else doing anything in the bar, or are you just following the Contessa's lead?
I am getting 2 glasses of wine.
Okay. Any particular type of wine this time, or because last time you specifically went for white?
Yeah, because I didn't want the lady to think that I didn't trust her drink, but rather that I just preferred white wine. But she's still with us, so I guess I should order white wine again. I'm ordering more white wine. I'm like, Tristan, could you please get me a white wine, something with maybe like a little bit of a peach tone?
Of course. I will get that taken care of and sent over for you.
I really appreciate it. And can you send one to my room? Just another glass.
Okay. For Lady Esme?
Yes. Exactly.
I will be happy to. Is there any particular way I need to, or my waiter needs to announce themselves?
Wouldn't it be so cool if I had thought of some cool sequence of numbers for this? But I definitely haven't. So let's just pretend that I'm.
Quick, Google something, and I'll talk to Clint.
Okay, go for
it. Clint, let's stall. What are you doing in the bar car?
Clint is walking very slowly, heel to toe. Clint is just kind of following the Contessa's lead at this point, because it's been a long day and he's had a lot to think about, and so he's enjoying the moment of not trying to be calculating.
Excellent. Are you going to place an additional order or just assume that what the Contessa ordered is going to be fine?
Yeah. I mean, so far everything the Contessa's done has worked out. So
Okay.
Clint trusts the Contessa.
Excellent. And the captain, our dear captain.
I will follow the Contessa's lead, actually. I was going to order something, but then when she ordered, I think Von Brandt just paused and nodded at that order, and we'll take whatever she's having.
Okay. As you do, he'll say, ice as normal.
You know what? I feel adventurous today. No ice.
Excellent. I'll make sure Ben knows. And back to Isolina.
I just say, tell her the word is just Juno.
Okay.
Well, that sounds awful in my accent, but it's fine. Juno.
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 Will do. I'll make sure that we say that before we enter. Or let the door open. And he will hand you one glass of white wine, and he's hands a glass of red wine to Lady Graven, who follows the rest of you out of the bar car. You'll note he's also pouring the same white to go back to your sleeping car to Esme. In the parlor car, the Contessa gets there first. Everything is set up the same way as it was before. You'll notice that it's been cleaned up.
Mm-hmm. The Contessa is making a production of looking upset, but too socially aware to show it.
Okay.
That if you've ever seen Gone with the Wind, Vivian Lee in that white dress when she's pissed off at Ashley.
Okay. Would you like to play any social graces to really boost that up, or just go off of your base?
Social graces is hearts, right?
Spades.
Spades. Well, she'll just play this to burn it.
Okay. You could also use one of your +2s if you wished.
Yeah, why not? She'll use that too.
Okay.
If I can stack that with the...
Stack that with the card.
Okay.
So, yeah, you are very convincing to basically everyone that doesn't know you. And you believe, and you pull it off as you normally would. You get a couple looks from some people, a couple whispers here or there, but for the most part, there's no intrusions, a lot of eyes, but that's kind of the intent.
Yeah.
So when you make it to the room, you can unlock it and you open it up. And like I said, it's been cleaned. It still has the 4 chairs and the 2 side tables, 2 chairs on each side with a side table between them. The window opposite the door. And it is darker outside as you're getting closer to Geneva and the evening is setting in.
And then the Contessa would just flounce back into the chair that she started in and flick her hair. Well, no, her hair's up, so never mind. She's not going to flick her hair.
Okay.
But then just wait for the others to come in.
Okay. I believe the captain would have been next in line based on how things were described. Since you said you were following after the Contessa, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
You make your way in. Before you were sitting in the chair, the side opposite the Contessa and closest to the door. Is that where you want to sit again? Do you want to sit somewhere else? Basically, are you using the socially reinforced seating chart that happens in like college campuses, or are you just sitting wherever you want?
I have no social graces. I sit wherever I want.
So where would you want to sit then?
I'll sit across from the Contessa.
Okay. You sit down across from the Contessa. And something that you hadn't really noticed before catches your eye. The different hat pin, now that she switched them around, it's this more antique bronze. And there's some engravings on it, and you're pretty sure it's Sealy script.
Oh, can I see what it, like, from where I am, can I read it out?
It's old enough that it's not easy to make out without getting closer. So you wouldn't be able to read it from there, but it's discernible to your eye.
I'll definitely keep an eye out for it.
Okay.
I'll try to find an excuse to get closer to her so I can read it.
Yeah. Is it just so you can read it or because of where it's located?
Look.
It's right down the her corset.
Look. Initially, it was only so I could read it, but now that you've implanted that idea in my mind...
It's for both.
Hey, if you're lucky, you might get to lockpicking.
Excellent. So the next would be, we'll go with Isolina at this point. You'll make your way in. You have wine in hand. Where would you like to sit?
I will sit.
It'll be either on the side with the Contessa near the door or the side with Von Brandt near the door.
I know that's the hard part because I'm like, well, I would like to sit across from the Contessa so I could see the Contessa, but that would mean I had to sit next to Von Brandt.
Well, there is a table between you.
You know what? That's enough. Good enough.
Okay.
For me. Let's do that.
Do I smell? Is that it?
Your charms seem to work on everyone except for the Contessa. Or not the Contessa, I'm sorry, the Isolina.
But I'm a lovable goof.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's about this time that Lady Graven and Clint will have sauntered their way through the parlor car, and to this particular room, where Lady Graven will take her leave. She'll turn to Clint and say, "I have only a few minutes left to get all my things together before I depart at Geneva."
Well, we sincerely appreciate your help, and do know that I'll be fulfilling my part of the contract.
Of course, I expect nothing less.
Have a pleasant evening in Geneva, Signora.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you all.
Adios.
And she'll raise her glass and then turn and walk away. She does still look a little pale. Yeah, and her body language is a little different than what you are used to, or what you had seen before.
Out of curiosity, would the Contessa notice Captain Von Brandt staring?
Do I notice Von Brandt staring?
No, because he would have stopped by the time that Isolina got there. Because you didn't make it sound like you were lingering very long. You were just trying to read it, and then you're like, no, can't read it from here. I'll do that later, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Did I interpret that correctly?
Yeah.
You might have noticed that he was trying to look at something, like he kind of maybe squinted his eyes a little bit as he was trying to focus while looking in your direction, Contessa, but I don't know. Were you trying to be discreet?
I have poor social graces.
So you'd probably notice that he was looking in the vicinity of your corset and squinting his eyes.
I am the very definition of subtle.
So she's just going to look down, look at him, and go, well, these haven't changed. Were you looking at this? And point at the pin.
Ah, the what? Oh, the pin. Why? Is that Sealy on there?
Do you want the closer look?
Sure, I get up and I look at the brooch from closer. The pin.
Gotcha. So I'm imagining like you actually leaned over and put your hands on the arms of the chair so you could get your face like here.
And the Contessa is just going to raise an eyebrow at Isolina.
Was I wrong in that interpretation?
No, you're
Simon?
right.
Okay.
Clint's gonna walk in on this.
Yep. And this is about the time that Clint's walking in.
What you see is just this from Isolina.
Playing this.
And the Contessa's got a glass in her hand and just going, mm-hmm.
Clint's playing this for social graces. Not sure what to do in this situation.
So
Good social grades. I don't either. So
Clint has a couple options here. You can try and make it humorous, or you can try and make sure everyone saves face and not make a big deal out of it and act like nothing's going on.
I think
Either would be fine.
Clint will, if there's a way around the two of them, because they're kind of taking up the whole room.
Yeah.
Except they're on the opposite side, so they're both on the window side.
Okay.
The only chair that's left is actually next to the Contessa, but on next to the door.
Right. So, Clint will just come sit down and kind of look at Isolina and just give a look. Just see if she returns it, and then if she does, Clint will nod and say, "Good weather we're having, huh?"
oh yes, it's a very nice summer in Geneva. It sounds like. It looks like. It'll be nice to get out of yep.
Stretch, walk around a little bit.
Yeah. If I like your glasses, some nice glasses. What did you get them? You don't see them tinted that often.
No, I mean they're cosmetic mostly. Keeps attention away.
Oh, that's true. That's very true. They look very nice. You'll have to. Oh, I guess you probably got them in the Americas, no?
Yeah, I did.
Well,
So about this time, you've had a chance to read the pin,
Mm-hmm.
and it simply says, "To protect that which one loves."
Is that like a saying or a proverb like that is common or known across like Sealy culture? Or
Let's see what you would know, because you didn't grow up across the veil.
No.
So this would be coming from stories.
Yep.
We could count that as a form of education. We could account that stories also as either connections or charisma.
charisma.
Charisma. Is there any? Do you want to play a card to see what you can remember to get super specific, or do you just want to know generally if it was familiar?
No, I'll play a card. I'll play a 7. My charisma is also good.
Okay, excellent. So that's a 13. You'll know that phrase in particular is often one that is bestowed from a family member to another family member, kind of a rite of passage. A lot of or in Sealy tradition, it's typically given from mother to daughter as a way to protect yet the next family to come. So it's a matrilineal. It's typically a matrilineal line that's used from mother to daughter.
I see your mother passed on to you a very beautiful thing, I say as I'm staring down her cleavage.
Well, my mother gave me these, and she'll point at her chest. And my great aunt gave me this.
You'll
She'll
hear a
point-
little bit louder in the background.
So,
So-
do y'all have any plans while y'all are in Geneva?
He's looking at the pin, and she's gonna pull it out and just kind of go, "Are you going to back up a little?" I mean, I understand they're very distracting. That's what they're there for. But I don't want to hit you with this.
I whispered to Clint, like, is that what they call it nowadays? A pin?
Wow, I was talking about the hairpin. What are you? Get your minds out of the gutters. Come on.
I love incredulous captain.
No, but it says. Well, do you know what it says?
I know it sincerely. I can't quite read it.
It says to protect that who or
Which one love?
Yeah, to protect that which one loves.
I thank you for the translation. It's been in my family for generations.
Is there Seelie blood in your family?
She'll kind of raise an eyebrow at the captain and say, in French, "We don't know each other that well yet."
Clint, you will notice that there is a slight magical aura about the pin, but it's very faint, and it seems to linger mostly on the script. And with that lovely line from the Contessa and that revelation to Clint, we are going to close out our episode for the evening. Thank you all for coming, and many thanks again to Katie for the donation.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to my wonderful players and to our audience. Simon, go ahead and take us away.
Yes. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you everyone for all of you for playing, and Chris for hosting the game. Thank you to those of you watching the video on the VOD. This is always greatly appreciated. Thank you for hanging out in chat. Thank you for the donations, the subscriptions, everything. You have my eternal gratitude for what it's worth anyway. But thank you so much. And I am out of words, apparently, so let's just talk about the fact that this stream was sponsored by Mage and Press. And that you can find all of their books and all of their PDFs at store.mageandpress.com. And if you use code WanderingDM, you get 15% off of everything you purchase. If you're interested in looking at what they do, you can find us here on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, where when we play Dark Matter, the space D&D campaign setting that Mage and Press made, using both the Dark Matter campaign setting and some of the other books that they came out with. So if you're interested in knowing what it looks like, join us next Tuesday. Otherwise, we will see you here next Friday for some more Castle Falkenstein. And no, not next Friday. What am I saying? Wow, really? I'm bad at this. We're going to be off next week. We're going to be back in 2 weeks for Castle Falkenstein, and we'll be bi-weekly from that point on until the end of the season. So you can catch us next week in 2 weeks for Castle Falkenstein. Woof, tomorrow for Vampire the Masquerade. Yeah, I am Wandering DM. And let's go around the table. Tell us who you are and where we can find you on the internet. And let's start with our Pew Pew Bang Bang Cowboy, Kenny.
Thanks, Simon. Hi, my name is Kenny. You can find me on Twitter at PunderDrone. I'm also a part of the Experience Points Network. On Saturdays, we stream our Starfinder game, of which PB is also a player. We are currently playing the Dawn of Flame Adventure Path. We start streaming at 11 a.m. Pacific, which is 2 p.m. Eastern. So come by and check us out. You can find out everything that we do with experience points on our Twitter at EQ Points.
Thank you, Kenny. And Deirdre, where can we find you?
Oh, hey, all. You know me. I'm at Deirdre Donlan on Twitter or Praxagora Thesmiophoria, as you see me hanging out in the Twitch chat. And tomorrow you can find me running some vampires through the city of New York as people may or may not discover the consequences of their own actions. And the vampire dads get to decide who's responsible for which child.
Oh,
That
yeah,
all
we
sounds
found.
very ominous.
Yeah, we found Anthony Stewart Head as a vampire, and we now need to figure out what to do with him.
Yeah, and somebody has to take responsibility for Herschel.
Yeah, no, Herschel he's fine. He's an adult, can take care of himself. Thank you, Deirdre. PB, where can we find you?
hi, I'm PB, and you can find me at PB Plays on Inside on Twitter, Twitch, and on Instagram. You could also find me over on Experience Points on Saturdays, like Kenny has told you, every other Saturday. Coincidentally, most of the time lines up with our new show schedule here with Castle Falkenstein. And let's see. On my channel, I am live Mondays, Tuesdays, all week. That was just any day I'm not doing Castle Falkenstein or anything else, I'm on, and the weekends I'm not on. Playing some variety gaming, doing some Minecraft, doing some fantasy map making practice, and playing other games that just, make me feel happy. And yeah, that's me.
And last but not least, Chris, where can we find you on the internet?
Thank you, Simon. You can find me on Twitter at Chris Geary, the handle that you see there on the screen. You can find me here every other Friday from here on out for Castle Falkenstein. We have 3 more episodes before we complete the season, and we will make it to Geneva, I promise. So yeah, come back and see us. Otherwise, yeah, find me on Twitter. Thank you again, Simon, for having this show on your channel.
Well, thank you everyone for agreeing to play in the show. And before we leave, let's go raid our good friend, Scraticus. It's his birthday today. So
Yay.
let's go say hi and wish him happy birthday. And we are going to see you in 2 weeks for more Castle Falkenstein. Ciao, everyone.